your baby girl.
Okay, here we are back inside MatrixGold once again. Thanks for tuning in. I hope the videos are helping your designing process. If you're new to the channel, please think about subscribing, tapping that notification bell, leaving me a comment, and please tap on like if the video is useful and helpful to you. We are back inside 3.8. So I thought we'd work on that texturing kind of part 2 type thing. This time we'll do it with the Clayoo emboss to kind of show off a little design aspect of it. But first, what we're going to do is kind of set up something to flow the texture on once we get it, because it's a little bit, when you do emboss, well, I guess it can give you either a closed or open surface. So we're going to do a closed surface on this one. And then we're going to be working with the mesh a little bit for that surface to kind of get it to look halfway decent. We're going to kind of set up some things here first. So the first thing I'm going to do is just go ahead and grab me a gem and lay it right down here on the center. And we'll take it down to maybe a 5/2 carat, something like that. And then we'll just go ahead and accept that. And we're going to use a baker top on this. And if you've looked at my videos in the past, I have one up there for how to make a baker top in case you don't have one. So I'm just going to pull it out of my library or my projects collections rather, and then I have the one I think that I'm going to use is this one here, and I'll just double click on that or click on it and then come over here to import. If I double click on it, it'll get rid of everything I have out there, so I'll just go ahead and import it and wait for it to load up. We have a lot of nice little I made I think that's a box class we made the lobster class in a previous video, as well as all these right here we made in a previous video, if you like check those out. Okay, so we have it out there. I'll just go ahead and click in the viewport there and get rid of that, and we'll just go ahead and select that, and we need to make it to fit our stone, right? So I'm going to go ahead, hold down shift, and kind of just bring it up to where it's kind of around our stone, and then I'll drag it down a little and give it some shading so we can kind of see what's going on with it, and that looks pretty close. We can drag it up a little, and we've got enough depth in there that it's okay. I think this one might already be in there. I don't think this one, it might be one I made, but I think it might be one that's already in there. So you might already have this one, and we'll say that height is it's kind of a little high. Let's well, this is not, it doesn't matter if we break history here on this, because we're just going to use this as a prototype basically for something else. So we'll say that's good right there, and now we're going to take it and we'll go ahead and go to settings and put on a head, and right away what we need to do probably is you know, we don't want those prongs. Well, I guess if you want those prongs at a little angle, you could have them at an angle, or you could make them just straight face. I didn't think that was it. I always grab the wrong one, this one here, and we'll just kind of make it so that they're kind of straight up and down, something like that. And of course we don't need any rails or anything, so rail count, we'll take that down to 0, and then we'll take our overall height there and just kind of drag it up into our item there so that we have that. All right, and next thing we'll do is we'll go ahead and put a cutter on it and just get that cut out of the way. We'll go ahead, change it to wireframe, and maybe bump this up a little bit, something like this. And we'll take that and go ahead and do that cutout on this item here real quick. So we'll go to solids, Boolean difference. This will be our first enter, this will be our second enter, and then enter. Now we have a little bit bigger cutout there, and we need to select the one that did not get the cutout. Oh, it looks like I cut into my item there a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and delete. Well, I'll just go back I'm going to edit this just a little bit more. I didn't pay attention because I had it in wireframe. We're cutting into our edge there. We don't want that. We just want to make this bottom part, yeah, that looks okay. A little bit more opening. So now we'll do that cut. Sorry about that. Hit enter and then enter and then enter, and then we need to get rid of the one that doesn't have the cutout, which is this one, and we'll just change it to gray and turn it off. So we have this one out here. And let's take a look at it in shaded, and that looks okay. All right. Oh, we could have dragged those prongs down a little bit. Wrong one. This one here. Something like that. Okay, there we go. So we have that. So let's take this, and if I move it, it'll kind of maybe jack up. So what I'll do is I'll just grab my little checkerboard there, hold down Alt, and just kind of drag it out of the way, and then we'll just go ahead and delete this one. We don't need it. And we can move this one anywhere we want now. Okay, so I'll move it over there. All right, we're just kind of setting up the ring for right now because we'll need the surface of the item to be able to do the emboss for this particular design. So what we'll do is we'll go to Tools, we'll go and grab a ring rail, and we'll just accept that size 7. Actually, it's going to be a men's ring, so let's go ahead and edit it up to maybe 10, and we'll take that. All right, so we have that out there. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and grab me another gem, except this time I'm going to go to gem on ring rail, and we'll take that, we'll take it down because we'll have to take it up a little bit to make this item the way we're going to design it. There's lots of ways you could do it. This is just one, so I'm going to take this down to all the way to 4, even though I'm going to probably bump it up later. Just because when you flow that surface on there, it's going to go to the norms of the surface, which will point that out this way, right? So it's going to be flared out at the top, and that's kind of why I want it a little smaller, so I can make it bigger later, and it be able to this will update with me, and I can cover up that difference there. I think you'll see as we go. So now I'll go to orient to gems, and then it says select my base gem. That'll be this gem here. Select objects to orient. That'll be my prongs and my baker top there. And then I'll hit enter, and my target gem will be this here. And then I'll hit enter, and that'll just draw that out there like that, right? And now we can take this and go ahead, and we definitely want to save it in case we want to come back and do any kind of manipulation on it. So we have our baker top up there with our item. All right, now if I try to extract a ISO curve on this, it's only going to go to one direction, and then I have to extract another ISO. So the best way for me to maybe get this ISO curve is just go back to curves and then just go and right click on it so you get both directions, and then go ahead and definitely change it to, well, you don't have to. I'm just going to, we'll just drop it up in here. I'll turn on my grid snap so I can get the start of it right in the middle somewhere. And then I'm just going to drag it out like this, and then I'll take it up to where I want it, which is pretty close to that, turn off my grid snaps, edge there, right? So I'll just take it up, say somewhere around here, right? And then I'll just do a project. So we'll just go to our project, select our curves to project. That'll be this, and hit enter, and then this surface here, enter. And then I'm going to change this from a top to my active viewport, which is my front, and then hit enter. And so now it goes all the way around, and I don't have to worry about trying to get each one of those curves out there, right? So I'll take that one now, and we can always move that if we want to. So we'll change that to gray as well and hide it. All right. Now this one, since I know it's going to flare out, I have a bunch of little things in there. So let's go ahead and hide that, hide this, and hide this. And we'll just ungroup this. I don't want to explode it. That'll jack up my history. So I'm going to grab it. I'm going to ungroup it. That should keep my history. Now, if I delete something, it will The curve looks a little hinky. That curve, I'll lose my history. So I'm just going to grab these items right in here. And I don't want to get rid of them, so I'll just go ahead and turn them to gray as well. And then this should be, what is it? It's a closed planar curve. Believe it or not, it's closed. Interesting. All right. Maybe that's my monitor. I don't know. Kind of looks like it's open. All right, so I have this out here. And if I alter this, I think it'll jack it up. So I'm going to hold down Shift and bring it in. Yeah, it'll mess up my history, and I don't want to mess up my history. I could, though. It's not really that important. But we made the gems smaller. I guess you could make this smaller versus make the gems smaller. Okay, so and you'll see what I'm talking about as we move forward. So I have something like this out. Now I want to get my depth out here. So I want to take it, turn on my snaps. My surface is going, or my emboss surface or texturing is going to go on top of my surface that I'm going to lay out here, right? So whatever height this is, we're going to add onto it the height or the thickness of the emboss. So I'm keeping that in mind as I'm going to make this thickness. So I'm going to take it out maybe 1.75. And then I'll just go ahead and hit enter. That'll lock that in, right? So it's locked in. Hold down Shift and then just go ahead and have that at a 1.75. So then when I add my texture on, it'll be more to the size that I want, hopefully. Okay, so let's go ahead, and now we have this and we have that edge there we can work with. So let's just grab a smart curve, and we'll just our snaps are on, our end snaps are on, so we'll just snap there. We'll come up around here, and then we'll just go to that mid or end point right there, and then we'll just click on there. So now we can just take that, and you can manipulate this if you want to get a different thickness, or however you want to lay out this, right? You can move it up. You can do all kinds of wherever you want it, right? I'll just say something like this is fine. That's kind of how I want it to go, maybe. All right, and now I'm going to go to where's my, everything's moved around. My arc direction. I'll just go from an arc. And then I'm going to go to my ring rail out to my item here, and then just drag it halfway down, holding down Shift so it just goes halfway like that. Okay, something like that. All right. So that'll kind of determine our thickness, right, of the ring. So it's going to be maybe almost a 4 coming through here, about 3.5, 4, something like that. So if you want it differently, you'll just have to draw it out a little further or whatever. But now what we'll do is we'll go in and we'll go back to our smart curve here, and we're going to go ahead and snap right there in our mid there. And I'll just say we want it to come out something like this, and then we're going to have it coming down something like this here perhaps. Okay, so something like that. And then I'll grab me a line curve, go from F4, and I want to just hold down Shift and drag it so that it intersects that there, right? And now I can select these two, and I can do a little trim action off of this one here, and then hit enter, close out that command, and we don't need this anymore, so we'll just go ahead and delete it. All right, and now what I want to do is grab me a line curve again, and from that end point, I want to drag it out to the opposite side that I want to make that line to, and then hold down Shift so it goes at a 90 degrees, right? And now I can do a blend from this section here to this curve over here, and I want it to come flaring out something like that, right? I don't want it to be right there on that corner. I want it to kind of, it's a little bit, it looks a better flow wise. And then I definitely need to flip this one here. So my first curve, I'm going to go ahead and flip, and then I can adjust wherever I want those, right? I'm just going to go ahead and say, let's see. Yeah, that looks okay. Something like this is okay. All right. And then I'm going to take this curve. Well, I'm sorry. I'm going to take this curve here, and I am going to split it with this curve here. And then I can get rid of that little teeny piece there so that it's butted up better, right? And now there could be a little kink right there. So let's go ahead and get rid of that kink. And the best way to do that is to go to your edit tools, go to match, and we can get this one here to this one here, and it's going in the wrong direction. So I'm going to back out of that, go again, this one here to this one. There we go. Tangency, average, and then join together. So now it's a little bit better curve. And if I really wanted to get crazy with it, make sure I could go ahead and rebuild the curve and then change it to however many points I want on it. Something like that. We'll just go ahead. Now it has a little bit better flare to it. So there's a lot of things you can do. And we don't need this anymore. So we'll just delete that because it's going to get in the way. All right, so we'll take this and we'll take this by holding down Shift, and we'll just go ahead, transform, mirror it over to our X direction, not our Y, and then hit Enter. So we can close out that. So we got something like this going on. Now we'll need to take this one and this one, and we're just going to join those together. And then we need to take this one here and split it with both sides there, and then hit Enter, right? So we have one side here and one side here, right? I guess we could have made that smaller because we just broke history there. All right, and I just got rid of that other side there. All right, so we have this. So we're set up for a good network, curved network, right? So we'll go to Surface. We'll go to Curved Network. We'll select one. Oh, they're joined together. So, okay, I need to get rid of that one there. So let's explode that here real quick. And that one's the one we want by itself, but these two we need to have joined together. So join. And actually, it looks like it comes to a point there. So let's take care of that real quick too. So let's explode that one more time. And let's go back to, well, we can go to our command line and find our match. And then just go from here to here. And then tangency, okay. And hopefully that's right on our item. It looks like it might have moved off. Let's make sure, let's turn on points, and I'll just select that point, and we'll just kind of, maybe I moved it off. Okay, we'll go to move. Go to move, and we have this point, hit Enter, and now I can, there we go, now end point quad, that's what we want, and we'll hit. Oh, what happened? Did I duplicate it? I don't want to duplicate it. Let's go back. Sorry. Okay. Turn off my points. Okay. All right. I just want to move that point. So let's turn back on points. Okay. And then let's go to move this point. Hit objects to move. Hit Enter. Go from here. And we just want to make sure we snap it. We're at near. There we go. Well, that one's on. Getting click happy here. Let's get out of all that. Let's make sure it's on. So we can take this. We can split it with this and hit Enter, and if that's split, yep, it did, so they're good, so it's on there. So we'll go back and just join it together. Just want to make sure before I do all this other work. All right, So we have this curve, and this curve for our sweeps going around, and then we have these two curves for the sweeps coming down the side. So let's go to that network curve. We'll select this one, this one, this one, this one, and then hit enter, and we have our surface. And we'll just go ahead and hit OK, and that looks like a nice little surface there, right? Now we're going to take this and we're going to go ahead and mirror it over to our other side, and then hit enter, right? So we have this surface and this surface. Now let's just check these surfaces. We want to go ahead and merge them together for one surface. So what we're going to do is go to our edit surface tools, and we'll scroll down here to edit tools, and we'll just merge this surface here with this surface here, right? It says edges are too far apart to merge. Okay, so we can't merge those together. So what we'll do is we'll go to edit tools. We'll come down here to match. We'll select this edge here and then select this edge here, and we'll match it tangent C, average surface, and then hit OK. All right, and then we'll come over to the other side, right click, bring back that command, go from here, this edge surface, to this edge surface, and that's be at position, tangency, and everything else looks good. So we'll hit OK. So now we have the two. Let's go ahead and go to merge. We should be able to merge this surface with this surface, and now we have one surface, and we should be able to turn on points. Should be a NURB surface. So what? Valid surface, NURB surface. Okay, so we're good to go so far. All right, so we have this. Now what we're going to do, let's change it to this color here. And let's just go ahead and drag this out and drag this back. And we'll just go ahead and nuke this. I don't think we need the inside, so we'll get rid of that side. We'll get rid of that side, and we have this side here. I tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and flip this 180 because now that seam's at the bottom. I don't think that's really important, but could be later. So there's that. So now we can just do a split. We'll split this surface, enter with this surface here, and enter, and we should be able to get rid of that surface. So we'll get rid of that, and get rid of that one, and get rid of that one. And I'll take all my yellow and we'll turn them to gray. So I have my surface, right? Now I want to flow that texture up on this surface. You could use any of the textures, really. You could use the 3D texture. You could go to your Rhino properties and use the displacement. I mean, there's all kind of ways to do this, but we're going to work with Clayoo on this, so we'll just keep on moving forward. Now I want this surface, but if I take it and lay it out, I'll get a square, right? I don't want a square. I'm being selfish. I want this surface, exactly this surface. So what I'm going to do is I'm not sure. I can't remember where it's at. Maybe it's in solids. I'm not sure. Let's see. I don't know where it's at, but we'll find out soon enough. I'm going to go up here to my command line and type in smash, and then hit enter. So it gives me this. It looks like it's in our surface area. I'm going to take smash here, select my surface to smash. I'm going to take this one and then hit enter. And it'll take a few seconds, and it should, hit enter again. It says unscroll area. There's going to be a little difference. I'm just that's okay. I'll just take this surface here because I can do some other things with it. Okay, so I have that, and it is exactly the shape of my item here, right? This is this seam here, this is that edge over there, and here's one shank, and there's the other half shank right there. So I'm going to select all this, and I'm just going to go ahead and hide it for right now. And we'll go ahead and get this to where it's a little bit maybe more usable in the area. So I'm going to go ahead kind of go something like this, and then we'll just go ahead, close that out, go to my transform, and we'll go to center and then move it to our center, and we'll change this to this nice big bright white here, or white surface area. And now I'm going to select that, and I'm going to go back to my curves, and I'll turn on red first. And I'm going to go to from object, and I'm going to duplicate border on that, and then hit enter, right? And I'll take this surface now, and I'll go ahead and change it to my ground plane, and take this surface, oh, hit enter, take this surface, change it to my ground plane, hide it, and I have two out there, I only need one, so that'll be it. And I'm going to check my curve, make sure, because it still looks like it's all broken up for some reason. I'll have to look into that. Planar closed curve there, so we're good to go. So let's go up to Clayoo, and we'll go to emboss, and we'll activate emboss, and it pops up here, and it's pretty close. Let's go ahead and bump it out. Now that way's fine. Let's bump it out just a little bit more to be safe. And I have it coarse, so it's going to give me a closed surface. And I have my resolution way up, but that's okay. I'll just leave it there. And I'll go ahead and hit here, because I can go back and change my everything in here, resolution and other settings in there at any time. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and activate a command. I'm going to select my line there, my surface, and then throw it in here. And I want to change this from profile to texture, and we're just going to use that texture that we made in the last video. So I'm going to grab this one and then go here and then go to my library. I already have it in there. If it's not in there, you can go ahead and hit plus here, and then click on your texture you want to import after you've saved it, in the last video the way we did. Okay, so we'll get out of that, and we'll just go to texture 3 here. And we have it set at 1. I'm going to take that down to a half because we set it off 1.75, so I'll take it out to around a 2.5. I could bump it up a little bit more if I needed to. And right now we'll just go ahead and refresh it to see what it looks like. And we'll go to our item here, right? So now we have our texture just going to the surface of our item there, right? And we can manipulate this if we want to further. We can make it, say they're too close together, so we can click on that side, click on this side over here, and then just go back to our refresh, and you can see it spreads them out further. Or you can make it closer together by dragging those in past our original surface. Right now, if you look at it and we hit refresh, it'll make a tighter pattern, and I think maybe that's something that we want for this nuggety texture that we're going for, I guess. So we'll say that one's good to go. So we refreshed it, everything looks pretty good. Yeah, we'll say this is good to go. If you want to, you can bump it out a little bit more, and just remember to keep refreshing so you can kind of see your texture. Now remember, when you flow it around that surface, it's going to spread out maybe just a little bit even more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it back in just a smidgen, so it's a little bit tighter. Refresh, so I have a little bit tighter pattern there. And I'm just going to go ahead and say this is good. Bing, we'll take that and wait for the emboss to finish out. Now I'll take this texture and we'll put it to this here, and then I'll come down here and grab my plane so it's back out there, and then I'll take all that and kind of just move it out of the way for right now and bring back my object. All right, so now there's my object. All right, and now I want to flow this texture onto this surface, but right now if I look at it, my texture is going about halfway through my item. Right, so I'm going to go ahead to wireframe so I can kind of see a little bit better, and I'm just going to take my texture and I'm going to bump it up closer to where I know it's kind of just to barely off my item there. All right. But you don't have to. Depending on how you set this up here, will play the part on the thickness, because it's going to come out to, about here after we flow it, right? So let's go ahead and let's do that flow. So let's go to transform. Let's go to a smart flow here. Select our base surface, that's just our ground plane here. Select our destination surface, that's this surface here. Select our item over here, object to flow will be this here, and then hit enter and give it a second to flow out there. And it looks like it's kind of going the wrong direction, so we'll flip the V here and go ahead and wait for it, and there we go. It's kind of laid out there on our texture. Yeah, going around our surface, and you can see that it's kind of going to our norms here, so it's got a little bit of flaredness there, right? That looks okay though. There is one thing, where's it? Right here, right? So this thing here, we could move those together, kind of bump them out, but that's kind of little difficult to do with this it not being square, right? If we bump them out, it'll still kind of maybe mess it up. So what we're going to do is take this and we'll switch it down to this layer here and turn it off. All right. And we'll take this. Let's see, what do we got? We still have our original surface out there, right? So we're going to take that surface and we'll turn it down here to this yellow here and just go ahead and get rid of it for right now. And you can see right there, right? So what I am going to do in order to delete that, or at least maybe help that a little bit, is I'm going to go to my top view and I am going to draw me two curves. I'm going to go here, and I'm on red, so I'll go to, let's see, both sides, and then I'll go to my F4 or center plane, right? And then just kind of draw it out that way, one that way, and go get another one, both sides, and draw one out this way, right? And I'm in shaded or plastic mode, so I can't see those curves, and I do want to see them at this point. Let's take this, and I think we put it on this layer. I'm not sure. Forget. So I'm going to take those two. I'm going to bump them down just a little, and then I'm going to just extrude them up, right? So they go like that, and they're all the way through my item, right? And I can't remember. I think it's our back side that was kind of hinky. This side here, because there's our green, right? So I'm going to go to mesh, right? But before I do anything else, these are poly surfaces, right? Or NURBS, poly or NURBS. So I'm going to take both these two, and I'm just going to type in mesh. And then I'll just go ahead and hit OK. So now I have a extrusion. I'm going to delete, and that leaves me with a mesh here and a mesh here. Now we can split meshes with meshes. I'm not real easy, so I'm just going to go to my edit and then go to a split mesh. Select the objects to split. That'll be this here. Enter. Select my cutting objects, will be my two planes, and then hit enter. And just kind of wait for it to split my mesh there. It says consider also running mesh repair. Yeah, we'll think about that later. Okay, so I think that's my, let's go ahead and take this, delete it, take this, delete it, and we'll turn this on. And which surface do I want to, that's the bad one, so get rid of that one, 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 and we'll take this one and hide it real quick. Okay, it didn't give me that. And then we'll just select it again, clay or not, transform, and we'll mirror it to all four sides, and then hit enter. So now we have all this out here, and it closes up that a little bit better, right? Not perfect, but it looks a little bit better, so we're maybe okay to go. So let's turn on our stone here and turn on our prongs, and I can't remember where we put that. There it is. All right, so as you can see, it kind of that's why I made it a little bit smaller, because it's going to the norms with those surfaces, right? So I'm going to go back to my gem, and then I'm going to drag it up just a little, and it follows because it's all history, right? And then I'm going to make it back to my 5 to see what it kind of looks like, and we have something like that. So maybe that's a little too big, so we'll have to take it down a little. Something like that. Yeah. And then maybe even drag it up just a little bit more so we can get it on top of our surface. And I don't mind that little bit of texture coming through. Yeah. Maybe we can make it even a little bit smaller. Something like that. Yeah, that looks even better. So you can play around with that, and I'll just right click, say this is what we're going to go for. Right? And so far so good. So we have something like this out here right now. Pretty cool. And it's all hollowed out, right? Which is cool. And our shading, something like that. All right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go back to my shading here. And we have that out there, right? And we need to close this bottom off now, right? So we'll just grab that. We'll go to Tools, put a profile out there, and we'll hold down Shift while we pick all that ball, click on that ball, left click, and we'll take it down here, and we'll give it some shading so we can kind of see what's going on out here. And we'll definitely want to change that to the shape of our shank, which is maybe something like this here. And we'll drag that out some, and let's see, I can't find there it is, and drag that, there it is. I want it out just a little bit more than my item, something like that perhaps. And we'll go ahead, rotate mirror, no, mirror yes, and then we'll go ahead and add one down here at the bottom, and we'll bring this one in just a smidgen. Just a little bit, and you can take it down height wise wherever you want it. We'll just leave it at 2.6, and then we'll click there. Now we'll just go ahead and do a solid, or not a solid, surface, sorry, a surface sweep 1. We'll grab this, and this over here, hit enter, and we have something like this. And maybe we want to open that up a little bit, but we can drag this up in to get a little bit better flow thing going on, right? So we'll just go ahead and accept that, and then we'll go back to our profile. Okay, we'll go back to our profile now, and edit that just a little bit more. So we want to grab that ball right there, and we want to maybe open this up just a little bit so it goes more to our design of our item there, and we'll go ahead and say that's what we want, something like that perhaps. All right, there's a lot more you could do. This is kind of really quickly, but now we have everything pretty much taken care of, right? But we want to get all this together, right? So I'm going to go down here in my super select, and I'm going to select all my curves, excuse me, and then just go ahead and turn them all to gray, right? And I'm going to turn off my gem. All right, so I have all this, and now this is where I think shrink wrap does a great job. So we'll just go ahead and type in SHRINK wrap. We got it there. So we'll go ahead and select that. So select our objects to shrink wrap. We're going to shrink wrap. We're going to take all that, hit enter. Now I need to get that design in there, right? Because it was pretty detailed and everything. So my target edge length, I'm just going to drop this all the way down to a 0.1. And then my fill holes, no, I don't want my holes filled. I want it open, right? And so I'll just go ahead and say that's okay, and we'll just wait for that to finish out, and then I'll drag it out. So now we have it over here, right? And we'll take that and turn it to this color here. And it's pretty close. And if you look at the transition it did for us right down in here, it really looks a lot better than what we have over here for the most part. And we got a hollow ring there. And it's really not that bad and should be good to go, I would think. We could do a mesh repair on it to check it, but I haven't printed these yet, but I will next week. So that's kind of how this works out. And then we'll just go ahead and grab that. And we will hold down Alt to duplicate that stone over to this one here. And just kind of get it in there. Yeah, it looks pretty good, pretty close. And there we go. We have both our items good to go. All right, so hopefully this video helps, and if it does, please go ahead, leave a like, subscribe, and a comment. Really appreciate a comment. Take 5 seconds and drop me a line. So thanks for watching, and good designing.